Hey everybody! Today we're going to unbox and assemble a Frontier OS18 portable sawmill. It's the newest machine from Norwood, a company based just a few hours north of me, near Orillia, Ontario. This is a compact model that can be set up, used, and tore down in a single afternoon. The cutting head even has wheels on it, so it can be pushed around like a wheelbarrow. I've always wanted a sawmill, and I'm really excited to give this one a try. The shipment from Frontier arrived Wednesday afternoon in a 670-pound steel-trimmed wooden crate with a huge shiny golden bow on the top. It was only later that I learned that this was the first OS18 sold in North America. I guess that's worth a little bit of celebrating. Now, just to be clear, I have no affiliation with Norwood or Frontier sawmills. It took a while to uncover everything and sort out all the boxes, and believe me, there's a lot of boxes. Fortunately, the manual was placed conveniently on top along with a guidebook to get me started. The assembly instructions look pretty good at a glance. I'll spend some more time with them tonight before I really get into it in the morning. Okay, I feel pretty good about this, so let's go. There's going to be an awful lot to putting this unit together. There's a lot of parts and a lot of steps. Fortunately, they've numbered all the boxes and hardware bags, and the book is really clear about where to find all the little bits and pieces for each of the assembly steps. All right, so here we are inside. Oh my God. All right, well. In case you're wondering, I have purchased a few extra things like track extensions, the adjustable feet, spare plates, all this kind of stuff. None of this comes with the standard package. Just like I said at the beginning, this is not an official video. If you have questions about the sawmill, they have been amazing to deal with by telephone, by email. They're really awesome. So just if you have questions and want to know what comes with it, go to the webpage, give them a call. The cutting head is far more complicated than the track was. Fortunately, the saw portion comes pre-assembled. I really took my time and I was able to handle all the components on my own. And unless somebody drops by, I'll be working with this machine mostly on my own, so it's important that I can maneuver it by myself. One. Two. Stand up. Alrighty then. Beauty. To this point, the instructions have been just amazing. Every step is explained clearly, and there are really nice technical assembly drawings for each part and each step as you go through putting it together. They did a really nice job on that manual, and it's coil bound, which I absolutely love. All right, getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Only a little bit left. So I can get rid of all this packaging. Okay. There's one more box. That's what we're looking for next. All the parts fit together really nicely. The manufacturing quality has been really good so far. You know, the paint doesn't chip off when you put the bolts through the hole, and everything lines up exactly as it should. My only comment is that the hardware is kind of a weird mix of standard and metric threads. That's kind of unusual. Wish they would have told me this earlier. I wouldn't say that the assembly was actually all that hard. There's just a lot of it. I guess that's part of the deal. They want it to come in from overseas, and they need to keep the packaging as small as possible. So there's a lot of parts and a lot of nuts and bolts to put in place. But you know what? You get to know your sawmill better, and well, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, goes there. And that. Those things are heavy. Awesome. So, this first. Beautiful. So one of the questions I had when I first saw it was like, how portable is this thing really? Like, is it a big pain that has to move, or what's the deal? And I am about to answer that right now. So let's tip her back. Oh God, that pushes like a wheelbarrow. I have to say it pulls a lot easier than it pushes, but it's not that bad. Okay, so here's my first thought. It'd be nice if this handle was like here, you know, so it'd be a lot easier, because right now you have to kind of bend down for it. Still portable, can't argue. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time to get this whole thing put together in one continuous shot. I had to work on it for kind of a few hours at a time over the course of about 3 days. Each night I read ahead in the instruction manual to prepare myself for the next day's effort. This videoing process tends to slow things down, so it's really hard to say how long it took me to get to this point. My guess is that a motivated individual could probably get here in a full day, but that's just a guess. Cool. All right, most of the reason that I wanted this mill was because I will be doing a lot of work sort of in our bush of our property here, but I didn't want to have to drag around a great big sawmill on a trailer behind the tractor because it's kind of tight in there. So I wanted something that would fold up to next to nothing, which I think this is what's going to happen with this, and that I can just set up and go. So I've been able to handle the whole thing by myself so far. That was easy, putting it up and on the rails. I'm pretty happy with this so far. I think this is going to work out perfectly for me. I'm not going to start a business cutting logs. I just want to do a little bit for myself and clear a little bit of space in the bush. Oh, that's smooth. The fasteners on the rails and carriage assembly are only finger tight at this point. It took quite a while to get things true and level, but I'm finally ready to tighten everything down. It's only after the carriage runs up and down the rails a few times to set up the final width that everything can get the final tighten. I'm finally able to see the light at the end of the tunnel concerning this assembly. The final step is the installation of the blade and the guides that keep it in line while cutting. Once again, the instructions are thorough, especially on tensioning the blade. Bandsaws are new to me, so the extra help was greatly appreciated. That's tight. Here's the sawmill, completed and ready to make the first cut. I gave it a quick photo session while it's still shiny and new. I have a feeling it's never going to look like this again. So I pulled this piece of ash from the firewood pile to experiment with. It was a standing dead tree and it's really dry. I'm not going to cut to any particular dimensions at this point. I mean, it's probably just going to go back into the firewood pile, but man, I really need to feel it cut. So the Lifen engine took a lot of pulling to get started for the first time. The pull cord is in a really awkward spot. The carriage support post kind of forces you to pull outward more than you're probably used to. If you try to pull it straight back, your knuckles will meet up with that support post, and I did it a few times. It's not fun, and I've edited all that out to spare you basically all my cursing. Once it did get running, though, it sliced right through that ash with no effort at all. It was really satisfying. The first thing I need to make is a set of sleepers to go under these adjustable feet. The ground is still kind of soft and I don't want the rails to settle in too far. The plan was just to make a few cuts out here on the lawn just to kind of get started. The actual reason I decided on being out here was to make this video on a pretty background. I've got another shadier, out-of-the-way spot in mind to set this thing up next. This is a piece of locust from a tree I cut down on my mom's property last week. One thing I'm definitely going to have to learn in a hurry is tree identification. I mean, I can tell a maple from an oak, but I can't tell the difference between a hard and soft maple or a white and red oak. Like I said, I'm really new to this. The bigger log was definitely more of a challenge for the engine than the ash was, well, actually last night. Still, it made it through without much trouble, and I began to start cutting things to size. These sleepers are more or less 3 inches high and 5 inches wide, well, at least some are, and they're almost square, kinda. So yeah, I'm new. I'll get better. That's about all I have to say for now. There's going to be a lot more of these videos coming out as I kind of stumble my way through this new hobby. If you want to follow along, just subscribe. Thanks for watching.